Okay, so what we're working on this week is the mean, okay? Well, you know that this is part of statistics. If I'm writing it, make sure you're writing it, please. Okay, so what is important about statistics? Okay, so remember, this statistics, all of this that we've been doing, statistical questions and everything that we're starting this week, mean, median, mode, it's all part of your performance task, which is more points on your state test, okay? So really need to work hard this week. So we're gonna go through this worksheet together. Make sure you have this sheet, it says mean at the top. So if you remember the mean, we worked on it on Friday. I want you to take a minute, talk to your partner, tell them what a mean is. Try to do it without looking at your notes. Okay, I'm gonna pause here. Okay, now that we're back, I hope you said something along the lines of when you find a mean, you find what's called an average. Everybody say average. Okay, so how to find this is you add them all up and then you're going to divide by how many numbers there are. So let's look at this together. Anna looked at the survey results for band. Okay, here's her data. So they asked a statistical question and she had to collect data for band. It says, based on this data, she thinks the average amount of money raised by a band student is $10. What is the mean of the band data? Is Anna correct? Okay, so before she even found the mean, she just looked at this data and she said, oh, I can tell you there's a bunch of 10s here, so the mean is going to be 10. Well, that isn't always correct, okay? So there's a few things that you can do to determine if she's right or not. Don't just assume because 10 is the most. Remember, we learned that that is called the, what? What's the one that occurs most often? The mode. So don't confuse that with the mean, okay? All right, so let's look and see what they've done here. So the first model it is showing the mean and they're showing it in a graph, okay? So they must have answered a question saying, how much money did each student earn, okay? So this graph right here is kind of like a dot plot with the dollar signs representing the dots. It said each dollar sign equals $10. So one band member earned $10. Band member 2 earned another $10. All of these band members earned $10. But then you had 7 of them earned 20. 8 earned 20. 9 earned 10, 20, 30, 40. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Number 10, no, not 9 earned this many. This is the band members number. Sorry about that. So then another one earned 60, okay? So we want to find out the average that most raised, okay? So if you were to take this and even them out, because when you find the mean or an average, you're finding a middle number that, like, you're finding a measure of center. So it's not really about the most, okay? So write measure of center right here. All right, so if you even it out, we're taking these dollar signs and we're spreading them out. So like, you know, this one came here, and then this one came here, and then this one came here, this one came here, we move this one to here, and this one to here, until everybody had how many for you to even it out? If they're each 10, how much for, what was the average? Okay, so it would be 20, right? So you can find the mean by drawing charts and evening it out, okay? Another way you can do it is solving the data, okay? You're gonna add them all up, 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 20 plus 20 plus 40 plus 60. And that's called, that answer is 200. And we're gonna divide them by 10 because there's 10 of them here. So 200 divided by 10, and it is 20. So your average or your mean is actually 20. So no, Anna was not right when you go back to the top and she thought it was 10. She made a mistake and she was finding the mode instead. Okay? So So let's turn it over on the back. Okay, it says, explain how to find the mean using the first model. Look at the second modelet. What does 200 represent? What does the 10 represent? Why do you divide 200 by 10? Are there any outliers in the data? Okay, you're going to need to know what this word means. Underline outlier. An outlier is a number that is a lot larger or smaller from the rest of the data set. Okay, so you need to go back and look and see if there was any outliers. And then I want you to do a little testing here. I want you to calculate the mean without the outliers, and then tell me how did the outliers affect the mean. Okay, and then I want you to add this question underneath it. How does the outlier affect the median? Okay, so you're going to have to find the median also. Okay, and figure out how did it affect it. Okay. All right, so go ahead and do this. I'm going to pause. You can work together, have some discussion, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. So now that we're back, here's some things that I've said, so pay attention. I said the first model shows that if the total amount raised is shared equally among 10 band members, then each person raised $20 because there are $2 symbols each. Okay, so if you shared it equally, that's what it's showing. Number 3, 200 is representing the total. 10 is the number of students. So you divide 200 by 10 to find the average amount being raised. Are there any outliers? Yes. 40 and 60 are outliers because all the other data points are 10 and 20. 40 and 60 are outliers because they are away from the group. So let's calculate the mean without the outliers. So if we take 40 and 60 away, 40 plus 60 is 100. So first it was 200 minus 100. So now my new total is 100. So instead of dividing it by 10, now we're dividing it by 8. So without the outliers, our mean is 12.5. Okay. So how did that affect the outlier? Did the outliers affect the mean? Yes, definitely. What did the outliers make the mean do? The outliers, because they were higher, they were making the mean go up. So when we pulled the outliers out, they made the mean drop. Okay? So the outliers pull the mean higher or lower, depending on the value of the outlier. All right, so let's find this median. Okay? So you got 10. Let me rewrite it here. Well, here it is right here. It's already in order. Actually, we'll go back to this. And let's go ahead and find the median. So here, 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 here. Cross out, cross out, cross out. We have 2 in the middle, and our median is 10. Okay? So now let's rewrite them. Let's redo the median without the 40 and without the 60. Okay, so with the outliers, it was 10. All right, we're going to take away this 40 and the 60. So cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out, cross out, cross. We got 2 in the middle. So it's still 10. So when you have an outlier, you want to make sure you use the median, because when you take them out, the median doesn't change very much because you're just moving it not very much. But if you add it all into the mean, it was a big difference. It made it drop from 20 to 12.5. Okay, so you need to remember, if there's an outlier, you want to make sure you use the median, not the mean. Okay. All right, so let's check this out. You had to find the mean use what you just learned about mean to solve these problems. So this one was 200 divided by 10, which is 20. And then this one was 400 divided by 10, which was 40. Okay? All right. So go to this page right here, secret message with math. And some of them you had to find the mean, some you had to find the median. It says, can you decode the message? In each row there is one data set with an outlier and then the same data set without the outlier. Determine which set of data has the greatest mean or median as specified. Circle the letter next to the data set that has the greatest mean or median as specified. The first one has been done for you. Okay, so it's the same data. All right, this one had the outlier of a 2, right? It's a lower outlier. Everything else is in 30s. So when you find the mean, it's 27.2. That's with the outlier. You take the outlier out, it went down, it went up to 33.5. Okay? So we circled this side because it says determine which set has the greatest. So because this side was the greatest, we circled the letter closest to it, which was in this case. Okay? So work with your team. Practice using with the outlier and without the outlier because it's showing you the difference that an outlier makes. And hopefully you will find that the outlier does not change the median, but the outlier changes the mean. Okay, so if we have an outlier, we want to use the median because it does not change the data set. All right, you may work with the partner and we'll check it in a few minutes. Do your best.